there's a saying that I've got, the saying that I love where it says, just because you're a broker doesn't mean you know how to run a business. Lads, 6 months ago, what would you say?
We didn't even know. I didn't even know Jamie. Didn't know much about the industry. Didn't know much about Dubai.
Yeah, I know. Hey,
You literally just landed, haven't you?
Yeah, I just landed. Zero real estate experience, and
BWC was born.
got inspired by Jake, a phone call away. Understood the vision. I think it was a Friday evening. No, it was a Thursday evening, and you said, Matt, I want you to fly up on the Saturday, and I want you to come have dinner with our investors and hear what we have to do.
Yeah.
Flew across. 2 nights later, I had dinner with you guys, and 2 weeks later, I moved to Dubai.
I know.
It's crazy.
Crazy how that works to even think that, such a short time ago. And it feels like I've probably aged 20 years. You know, it's only been 6 months, and I feel like, it's been years, to be honest. In a good thing, though.
Yeah.
In a really, really
It's been a hell of an exciting journey, starting all the way from Business Bay, the 17th floor, sitting there knocking our heads together thinking, shit, what are we going to do?
It's like, how
are we going to do this?
How are we going to...
We've got a vision. How are we going to get there?
It was like a tiny little business centre, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was
a tiny
literally
little room, a small little whiteboard.
Right
there.
I think it's crazy to think, and that big mountain in front of us, in the most competitive, real estate market probably in the world.
Absolutely.
And here we were, 2 guys, 6 months Dubai real estate experience, 0 Dubai real estate experience, and here we were now promising that we were going to revolutionize the real estate industry. I mean,
crazy.
Sounds pretty absurd. Even when I think, mate, that is absolutely bonkers.
It's crazy.
And
that's probably one of the most challenging parts, right? So we sat there and we thought, okay, we knew where we wanted to be. We knew we wanted to be different. We knew we wanted to revolutionize the industry. But how do we get there?
What did you want to do?
What are the stepping stones to get there?
What was the goal?
The goal was, we wanted to be the best place to work for Dubai's top performing brokers. And I think, given Jake's experience in the industry here, and, we've learned today through interviews, there are pain points. And they're common pain points that people are identifying. They're not happy in their role. And the pain points are similar across the industry. We thought, well, we can change this, right?
Yeah.
We had a vision to change this.
100%. And we believe that, it was always just a very cutthroat industry, very sharky, very snaky. And the thing is, you look at the highest performing teams in the world, the highest performing companies in the world, the Googles, they're all about teamwork and collaboration. So why should that be any difference for real estate? And, I think it was also like, Maddie, we were probably talking, it's like, we want to create something where we actually want to come to work every day. Like at the end of the day, we're the ones that have to come to work. Maybe I would rather be sitting on an island sipping, a mojito. But if I'm gonna be in work, why not? Let's enjoy it, and let's make it a space where we want to be.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah.
More loved every minute. I tell you what, it's been stressful. I mean, you can see Matt's lost some hair.
Lost some hair.
But I think it's been incredible. But I mean, I guess that's to say, as I mentioned, it's been stressful. And I guess what would you say, Maddie, like from when we started, like what do you think was the most stressful point in the beginning of the journey?
I think the most stressful thing in the beginning was probably seeing this mountain of a vision that we wanted to create. We knew what we wanted to create. We knew where we wanted to be, but it was the stepping stones in order to get there.
Yeah.
How do we dissect this into bite-sized pieces that we could eat away at daily to get to where we wanted to be? I would say another huge challenge was thinking, well, recruitment's a big part of this.
Yeah.
The first key resource we need in the business is a sales director. I think that was a big challenge to think, how do we convince someone that has got a steady job, is making good money, to come and believe in our new dream?
Because we wanted that sales director not just to be anyone, right? That had to be that almost the piece to the puzzle, the missing piece to the puzzle, right?
Absolutely.
We didn't have that real estate experience, or had very limited, so we needed to ensure that sales director was going to be a pivotal part in helping drive the sales, and the revenue side of the business.
Absolutely.
And I think we found the best sales director in the market.
Jamie, how did you try that? Tell us a bit about how
did it actually happen? What do you
come on board, and what are the kind of pain points in joining us?
I'll always tell every single person that, like my previous role, obviously I was comfortable there. I'd been there from the start. Like essentially, I helped build another company. I got it to where it was that day. And it was a Sunday afternoon. I was sat on my sofa watching Formula One, and I get this call from a number that I don't recognise, and I was like, okay, cool, that might be a lead or might be someone that you'd never know.
As Jamie being as Jamie, always answers the phone.
Yeah, always answers the phone.
Yeah,
So
no,
answer the phone.
Mr. Reliable,
Yeah.
100%.
And
Literally.
I think Jake said to me, he said, hi Jamie, like it's Jake here from BWC, and I was like, okay. And he said, look, you don't know who I am and you don't know who we are, but you're going to want to listen to what I have to say. And
I
then
love that.
proceeded to
Actually, love that line. I'm gonna
Yeah.
paste in that line.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Do you know what though? It was so like out of the box that I was like, okay, cool, all right, I'll listen. And I think 10 minutes went on, and those 10 minutes then led to.
Did you get much of a word in, or was it a full blown pitch and what,
Do you know what
we're
though?
all about?
I didn't.
Probably
I was like,
was.
it was so like intriguing. Like I was sat there and like, okay, go on, like, carry on.
Hang on, this is
But then
interesting.
it ended up, and I think Jake ended it by like, look, what's a coffee, mate? Like, come in, have a chat, come see the office, and let us talk about this a little bit more. And I said, okay, cool, like, I'll come. Came for one. I think I came like Tuesday evening then, so like 2 days after. It was great, and then I think you guys called me and said, look, do you want to come back in? We really liked you, and we wanted to have a chat more. And then the rest is history.
I think that's testament to why you're the right fit for this job, right? Because the amount of times we picked up the phone and people wouldn't even listen to an opportunity. And I think living in Dubai, Jake, you've said it over and over. You know, living in Dubai, this is the land of opportunities. And right, if something comes in, just have a listen.
Do you know what it is though? Like, no, because for 2 years I was obviously in like head of sales and leasing position where people would constantly call, like Dubai. Every single person in a management position will understand this, that you always get calls. People always ask you and say, "Oh, are you looking for other opportunities?" But it's always so bland. It's always so
need to be unique.
Oh, it's like I've got to call this person. I need to pitch him an opportunity. But I'll say this, and even when I came in to hear the pitch for the business, it was the passion and the type of, I don't know, the words that you guys were using and the way that you were saying what you were saying. It was
probably
like
the excitement, because genuinely we do
so
believe.
enthusiastic. Our mentality was we will not let this fail.
But it was
we
passionate.
knew where we needed to go, and we would do nothing to get.
But it was passionate, and I think from day one, and I still say this to people now, that when you meet Jake, when you meet Matt, eventually, like wherever you are, whenever you're coming in, every single day you'll see them. They are the same. And for you guys, like the energy is always there. Like Matt walks around, high fives every single person in the office every morning, and everyone will know. Vicky will know.
If you're lucky,
I know.
you'll even get a little hug from Matt. Sometimes the boy comes in with a hug.
Guys, got the hardest high five ever.
Yeah.
Like, my hand is
Almost like tackling people down, but I love that.
You know what I mean? And I love that. And I feel like, especially if you are a broker and you're coming into a new company, usually you have the CEOs that walk past with their ego, and they're going to their office, and the only other time you see them usually is when something's going wrong or when they're approaching the more senior people in the business.
Yeah.
But for us, it's like everyone is on the same level, and it's that horizontal leadership that we've always pitched from
That's
day
the
one.
phrase you've always
And
used, right?
I think you can literally ask anyone in our business that is how it is, and
Absolutely.
it's not. And I think it's one thing that we've done, that when we say we're going to do something and we actually do it, I think that's why a lot of people now probably can never see themselves working for it or going anywhere else, because of that environment that we've created that makes them want to be here still.
And I feel like we say that in a lot of
Absolutely.
things is, and I've been a big believer in this, like seeing is believing, and
Yeah.
just going back to the point when you're saying when you're on the phone, calling,
I never got called in my life.
hundreds of
Never got
brokers,
called in my life.
and just kind of just saying, listen, just come and see it. Seeing is believing, and the amount of people that just that wouldn't even give that opportunity.
Mate, there
And
was still sheets. There was still sheets on all the furniture here. Like when I got it, there was no chairs, no chairs at the desk. There was literally nothing.
It's crazy.
And
Yeah.
it's but I think that's another thing as well. Like from starting off, you guys obviously had the avenue, or the thinking avenue of, right, well, if a senior broker, if an experienced broker is going to walk into this business, we need to make sure that we have everything.
Absolutely.
We need to make sure we have finance, admin.
The foundations.
We had a full videography and marketing sort of department before we
From the
even had our
get-go.
first broker.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
for someone coming in, it was like, okay, these guys are serious, and we always wanted to make sure that people understood we're not here to mess around.
And I think from the start, even
Yeah.
just touching on that was one thing with Matt was hugely instrumental in is building those systems, the processes and structures, right?
Yeah.
I walked in and saw a 2-year financial model, and I've never seen one in my life.
You know,
I was like,
and
Jesus.
I feel like what's so key about that is you find we're probably not your stereotypical real estate startup leadership team, right?
Completely different.
The thing is, just because you're a broker doesn't mean you know how to run a business. There's so much more to it. And the fact that with your experience, I think, working at Deloitte, building those financial models, being a part of teams where you're using, the latest Microsoft,
latest technology,
latest tech and everything, we were able to implement that from the start, which I think was so instrumental. And I think that was always the thing we wanted to do is we knew we're a startup, right? We're in probably the most competitive real estate market in the world, right? We understand that brokers are on commission-only salaries, right? So it would be irresponsible of us to where a lot of companies
sell a dream where we knew we didn't have the resources available.
Exactly.
They come in, and if they came and we didn't have the resources, it doesn't reflect well on us as a leadership team.
Yeah, and then they fail, and it's not just affects us; it affects the people that coming in and break of that promise. And I feel like and
I saw a few surprised faces right in the interview in the beginning. I think like people are like, "Oh, but do you guys have a CRM?" Yeah. Do you guys have your portal set up? Yes. And a lot of people were quite surprised.
What CRM are you guys using? And you told me, and I was like, "Oh, thank God!"
Yeah,
what I had used.
And I was so happy with that because when I had the task, because I brought that over from the previous company that I used. I'd only used it for a couple of months, and I remember thinking, "Oh my word, this is gonna be like my job of having to kind of like properly understand this." So when you were like, you use that system, I was like, "Oh, I think that was." I was like, "Matt, dude, this is the guy."
I think it's good though, but like, I think it's just a testament as well that we're all very different people. So,
which is perfect, right?
Which is perfect, and what's so nice is, I think in the 6 months it's been since business has actually been up and running. Like how many arguments have we had? We've had disagreements, right? Like naturally, and it's good that we challenge each other.
And I think we're very transparent about it.
Yeah,
those discussions. If anything that bothers us, we discuss those amongst ourselves.
And I think a lot of people in companies will be maybe worried of like annoying their partners or getting into situations where it does turn into arguments. Whereas we're very much like,
very honest.
Okay, well, if it's me and Jake versus you, or not versus you, but if me and Jake have an opinion, you have an opinion, you'll go, okay, 2 against 1, fine. Like, I'll let you guys do this. Like, I disagree with it, but if you guys think it's the right thing to do, then do it.
Well, there's a saying that I've got. There's the saying that I love where it said, "It's not me versus you; it's us versus the problem."
Yeah,
and I feel like that's a massive thing that we do here at BWC. We said it's like we all want this to work.
Yeah,
100%.
You give your opinion. Cool, maybe I might not see eye to eye with it, but you're only giving that opinion because you want the best for BWC.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it's that change in mindset, which I think what makes us so powerful, and the fact that, we all have different outlooks, different kind of viewpoints.
Yeah. So, and we welcome those viewpoints, not just amongst ourselves, but across the wider team, right?
100%.
Like often we'll be having discussions, whether it's feeding into our longer term strategy, whether it's tackling a problem on the day. We often get the insights of our brokers because they too see things differently. They too can add different insights.
No other company has taken on like a 20-year-old, and in his first couple of days, he's already trying to change systems for the better.
Absolutely.
And I think for us, like a lot of companies are probably in the position where they can't let people do that. They want to be known as the most experienced, the most knowledgeable, and everything like this. Whereas, if anything, we're open to it because we say like, look, we might know a lot, but there's a lot we don't know.
Exactly.
And if you can help us, like, not only for us that it helps, but as a broker, imagine walking into a company and helping the managing partners and the sales director within a week. Like,
and knowing that your voice is heard. I know we've mentioned that a few times. A big thing we talk about here is having a voice that's heard, and I think that's so important. Everyone's opinion should be valued.
I feel like that's a bit of a buzzword. It's a bit of a cliche. A lot of companies said, that open door policy or your voice is heard, but like I genuinely believe
Matt hates that. Matt wants his time to himself.
Like I genuinely believe it's something that we are that we have instilled in the culture, and that's what we're about. But I guess touching with the recruitment thing, I remember, Matt, we were sitting in the boardroom. We were looking out on the floor, so it's kind of got our boardroom, and then outside's all the tables. And we remember thinking, we just want to fill one table.
Do you remember?
Do you remember I say that?
Right? We looked out, a beautiful office.
Yeah, beautiful office. No one in it.
Looking at a beautiful office. We just thought, just one table. Let's fill one island, and then that's a little milestone.
And then
we just want to fill another island.
Just another island.
You got to appreciate those little small wins as you go as well.
Now look at it.
Look at it. No,
100%. And now we're on our way, and it's so exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I guess additional sort of challenges. Would you think what are some other challenges which you possibly think that we kind of went through? I think probably recruitment was the biggest, because we also had that model from the start where we started off
weakness as well.
Yeah.
We're not, typically. What do we see in the market, right? Typically, a successful broker sees, okay, well, I'm actually making quite a bit of money here, but I'm giving a portion of this to the firm, but I feel like I'm doing all the work, and those brokers leave, and have a group of friends that are also top brokers. They're coming from a position of strength, as we've mentioned.
There's like 6-7 of them that
real
come
estate
across.
Experience. We didn't have a name in the market.
Yeah.
And coming from that position of weakness was difficult, and I think that added to the stress of recruitment, which in itself is already one of the most difficult things that the industry faces.
And what didn't help is the fact that we came in here, like you said, with that limited experience, and we were like, no, we only want brokers with
minimum
6 months real estate experience, and we were really sort of hot on that, and that was a big focus. I mean, how many interviews would you say that we've had in total? Because we said from the start, right, we're not prepared to compromise culture for profitability, right?
Yeah.
So, we were getting interviews coming in, but I mean, we're not even lying, we've probably had over 80 interviews, and probably 80% of those people we thought weren't right fit. Yeah, there were people that thought, okay, cool, maybe BWC is not for them, they're not prepared to take that risk.
They probably would have brought money to the firm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
But looking at the long term, where they're feeding into our vision, where they're feeding into the culture that we're trying to get, we didn't think so.
So 6 months in, have you gone against that for any people yet? Have you gone against hiring profitability for culture?
Well, no. No, not on that. 100%.
And I think that says a lot. Like, companies here, like, when they start off, it's either like ex-brokers with their friends, and then they bring friends in. But for us, it was a case of, like, regardless of how much money you're making, like, we're sorry if you're not the right person for us. And it's been...
And things can change, right?
It's been hard, right? It's been hard sometimes, because you sit there and you see someone that is doing 1.5, 2 million a year, and they walk in and they say, yeah, I can do this, but you can just tell they're not a right fit.
Yeah.
And what we now have is an environment in the office full of the same type of people.
Yeah.
All they want to do is progress. All they want to do is help each other.
Develop, make the best version of themselves.
I think for us, and the values we set out from day one, it's so nice to see that those are still carrying on.
Absolutely.
And it's not even us now that has to instill that. It's all of the brokers that walk in. They're sitting around the right type of people.
What do you say about culture with kind of when you go out, the kind of cultures defined by the firm?
Oh yeah. So how you decide that? Like our culture. So we're a startup culture blended with corporate professionalism.
But I mean, the culture, the company becomes the culture, right? Everyone here now, that culture is
so
strong.
Yeah. So if and this was from like Stephen Bartlett's, which he actually said,
it's an interesting point.
If the culture is strong, people will become like the culture. If the culture is weak, new people, the culture will become like the new people.
Yeah.
Which is where you walk into these companies and everyone's negative. Everyone looks like they've just had the worst 6 months of their lives. But you walk in here at 8:30 on a Monday morning, and everyone has genuinely been buzzing to come to work.
Yeah.
And I think it's so nice to be able to see that, not even for like a short period of time, like 6 months is short, but to see it carrying on with the people that were with us from the start, still coming in, still saying they love where they work.
And hat off to all the brokers that have joined us from the start, right?
100%.
Because if you look at it, like, and let's be completely transparent, right? In the earlier months of starting stuff, we couldn't offer incentives of Rolexes every month. We couldn't offer some of the incentives that these other bigger firms. So hat off to the brokers that believed in this long term vision, and now as we're starting to really see the growth kick off, we've got an exciting future ahead. Where everyone will benefit from that.
And I think that's the thing, though. It's like what's kind of kept the team so like gelled and driven is we're all driven towards a shared vision and a shared goal.
Yeah.
Like we said the vision for BWC is to become the best place to work for Dubai's top performing brokers. This is not something which it's not just our vision. It's not just something that we can do. It's something which every single person in the company has to contribute to in order to make this the best place to work.
And it's not that we only look for Dubai's top performing brokers to bring them in. It's more from like a progressive personal development approach.
Yeah.
And I think
let's dissect that. Let's dissect that vision, right? The best place to work, i.e., creating that environment that people want to come to work, right? What does that say? And culture is how people feel on Sunday about coming to work on the Monday, right? And then the second part is the high performance part, right?
Yeah.
Is we want to make sure that people are becoming the best versions of themselves. Making sure we're giving the supporting tools in order for them to develop where they need to be.
How do we do that?
And just touching on that, I mean, you can have an incredible culture, but if people aren't making money, then it doesn't matter how good your culture is. It doesn't mean anything. So we want to create that almost that happy high performance culture.
And I like your point. How do we do it? I like your point there. How do we do it? So touch on a few things that we've implemented, because I'm sure a lot of people in the market will say, we care about the professional development of the people that are working here. We want them to be the best versions of themselves. What are they putting in place? And let's touch on a few examples of what we do.
A really, really good place to start is the fact that we've adopted a weekly meeting, which is called BWC's Breakfast Brain Boost.
Yeah.
And I think it sounds so cringy, right? But to think that it's sort of set up by us, but we don't control it. We don't monitor what happens in terms of like people booking it. But essentially what it means for those that don't know is every week on a Wednesday morning at 9:30, any broker in the office, or not even a broker,
anyone in the
literally
office.
any one of our staff has an opportunity to share something that they are maybe and sort of an adept level at, or something that they found that they think other people can benefit from.
A unique skill set they've got.
100%.
Right?
And it could be anything from like when Vicky walked in and showed us how to shoot like reels on our phone and using a certain software.
Absolutely.
And someone else came in and showed us
automation tools in LinkedIn, finance.
Matt came in and showed us 10 years of finance in 10 minutes. And
there we go.
It's all these things that we naturally, I think there's maybe been 1 week where we've said, guys, does anyone want to do it? Every other week other than that, it's people are booking in advance.
Yeah.
We had a guy that walked in on his first week. He was showing us LinkedIn automation tools.
Yeah,
on
it's crazy.
How to become more successful in the background without actually having to put any effort in.
And why? And you ask why do that, and why is that important? Because that creates an environment of collaboration, mutual growth.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like we've said, how the market is. Everyone keeps everything so close to their chest because it's me versus you. I'm not going to share that. Where it's like, if I've got something to share, that's one thing. If I keep that to my chest, I've only got the one thing. But now if everyone shares that, then you've got 10 things.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how
that's where collaboration is key.
That's where collaboration is key. That's why it's one of our core vision and probably one of the key values at BWC.
I think it has to be though. Like, in an environment where you can have a bad day, you can have a bad month. If those around you are not in that sort of mindset as well, you're going to have a very tough time, and very quickly you're not going to enjoy work.
That drives into one of the other values, right? Positivity and enthusiasm is 80% of the job.
And if everyone around you is positive, like the reason we will never submit to bad culture is because one bad apple rots the lot, right?
Absolutely.
So if we can have everyone on this constant high of wanting to do well, wanting to help everyone else, like I've genuinely had like 3-4 staff come up to me and say, oh, by the way, I saw this person was a bit down. I've actually gone and had a chat with them.
Actually thinking about that example.
I wanted to let you know as well.
4 people messaging someone when they're just looking down. I mean, how unheard of is that?
And it's ridiculous. And it almost sounds like we're making it up, right? Because it's so uncommon.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're actually doing that, and we're 6 months old.
Yeah.
And we've now got brokers turning up at our doorstep saying, have you got any jobs here? Because I've seen you guys and I like what you do. And it's so good. It's so nice to see that.
Yeah.
All that work, all that effort, all that planning, all that strategizing is now all just starting to slot in where it should be.
And I guess we've got the Breakfast Brain Boost. It's something I'm super excited that we've actually just implemented now is our BWC book club.
Yeah,
right.
It's crazy.
Which
tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah. So essentially, the idea, it's kind of like a mastermind, and the idea is that we all read a book together. We pick a book. We read a book together as a company. So we'll say, cool, on Monday we'll say, guys, cool, we've got 2 chapters to read. We come on a Friday, 9 o'clock for 30 minutes. We sit down and we all discuss those two chapters of that book. And I guess the idea from it is so that we're all singing from the same hymn sheet, right?
Absolutely.
We're all thinking the same, we're not people going this way, people going that way. We're all aligned.
If you think about if you think about like the kind of important pillars that make up a kind of holistic, successful person, there's obviously the core kind of professional, your work day.
Yep.
We've then touched on kind of your more professional development outside of work.
Yep.
Learning new skill sets.
Yep.
Getting involved in the BWC book club. Getting involved in BWC Breakfast Brain Boost.
Yep.
Increasing your confidence by taking those sessions.
Yep.
And the third pillar is health and well-being.
Yeah,
we've recently implemented an incredible initiative.
Yeah,
because we think that is important, right? It's a
100%.
huge aspect of having an all-rounded person.
What do you say, Jake?
Healthy body, healthy mind.
That's
you know, and my favorite quotes: "A healthy body is a healthy mind, and a healthy mind takes care of business."
Done.
Right, and it could not be more true. You look at the highest performing individuals in the world. They all prioritize their health and well-being, and I feel like by ingraining that in the culture, it's only but leading to our values of positivity and enthusiasm. You're going to be a lot more positive and enthusiastic if you prioritize.
It's not
things,
about
right?
everyone coming as a company to go to gym and do the
You're
exact
all
same
running
thing.
marathons.
It's just about pushing yourself
100%.
to your limits.
And
Pushing yourself to
what's
that
nice
next
is
level.
Everyone's encouraging everyone else
Yeah,
to do it.
Absolutely.
Everyone's on top of it. Like tomorrow morning, we're going to there's a running club, and all of our brokers are like, oh, where do we meet and how do we get, and what time do we need to get there for? And it's 6:15 in the morning.
Yeah,
and it's people are happy to do that. They're happy to push themselves out of their comfort zone because they realise. And we had someone come into a performance coach come in to speak about this. Is it's all about your energy. If you, the healthier you are, whether that's what you eat or whether that's how you train, the more energy you're going to have. The more energy you have, you will have more success in your workplace.
Yeah.
And if you walk into a company that's everyone's eating McDonald's for lunch every single day versus, I can't even tell you how many fitness bowls and poke bowls and
honestly, we're literally like an advert
we need to get
for
a
us, right?
subscription with those guys. Like honestly, we have so many, but people, and that's the thing. If some of the office do it, we have now got that thing where everyone will start to slowly follow.
You become like the people you surround yourself with.
100%.
And what's so key important is, in the workplace, you spend more time at work than you do with your family, than you do anything else. So it's so important that when you have the right people around you, it's amazing. Like that cliche saying, which is you're the product of like the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
Well, that's your colleague.
True.
That's your colleague.
Yeah.
Colleagues I never have read a book until I met you.
And you've seen such growth from it, and such a positive thing.
It's allowing yourself to almost feel a bit vulnerable and opening your mind to trying new things and knowing that people aren't going to sit there and laugh at you, but they're actually going to sort of help pick you up. And
absolutely,
it's so good.
And I think there's never a cap on that development, right? So a lot of people step into that position of arrogance where they think I've made it and I'm here.
Yeah.
But you can always constantly develop in new ways, and I think we always try to identify ways where we can develop.
100%. So, listen, we at how many?
15 brokers, 22 staff in total.
Yeah, 15 brokers. We've got a couple of senior agents. We've got a couple of new guys that have never done real estate before.
Yeah. And that's just touching on that, because earlier, we started this approach where we only wanted Dubai experienced brokers. But where we kind of opened our mind is it's to the thing that actually real estate's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a complicated process, but it's a mentality. It takes the right person.
Yeah.
So of course you don't just want to fill a room and have, all these new people, because that affects the more experienced brokers.
Absolutely.
But by having that nice little bit of a blend,
bit of a balance, that new energy coming in.
And the thing is as well, like we always said like we wouldn't do that. And then we sort of opened our mind to it. But the only reason we opened our mind is because someone came across us that had no real estate, was coming over from the UK.
And it was
impressive. And was very impressive. Yeah. So it was a case for us sitting there going, well, maybe we were wrong. Maybe we should open our eyes.
And be open to that, being wrong.
But the best
thing
is, but we're not going to be a company that tries to fill 10 seats every single month. Like we've categorically said, that will never be us, because as soon as you do that, you bring too many people in, that overtakes the culture.
And it puts too much pressure on our existing workforce.
100%. And I want to be able to give, like, I love it at the moment. If someone needs an hour out of my day, they can just book it in my diary and I'm all theirs.
Yeah.
I think if you hire too many people that need that nurturing, that need that one-to-one time, and you can't give it to them,
lose that
that's why people fail in this industry, because they don't have that one-to-one interaction. Because like we always say, that there's no one way to do this job, but what we're able to do is show people the way that works best for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And give them the time to be able to try new things, try different techniques, because
and we're all adults. I mean, Jake said it time and time again, we're all adults and everyone's got their own approach and way of doing things. And I think that's really how you nurture kind of a progressive, innovative approach to running this brokerage. You know, everyone's got unique ways of doing things.
And I think that's the thing. It's like, I always think in my head, and this was actually when I was a broker in my previous company, and you see, you know, in the industry standard, how there's such high attrition rates of brokers, and you think, well, you know, it's not for the commission-only job role. It's stressful, man. People are coming over and leaving their families, but just because, let's say, in the first few months you don't get it right, doesn't mean that you can't be a successful broker. I always think the amount of talent which has probably left the industry. Imagine how many Cristiano Ronaldos and Messis have left real estate just because they weren't provided that support and thought, nah, okay, cool. This is how real estate is. This environment, it's not for me, so I can't do real estate. Where I think that's so wrong. Your environment has such a key player on.
I also think that does tie in as well to the expectations when you come over to do this role. I can guarantee that every single person I speak to, if they haven't done real estate before, I am being very, very assertive that you come over.
Warn them of
you will be making. I'm sorry, but regardless of what you go to, you need to be making 150 to 200 calls every single day.
Yeah.
You need to be prospecting the hell out of every single client that you can. If you are not prepared to do that, please do not come. Because no matter what company you go to, no matter what they promise you, the facts are the same. This is a numbers game. You have to come in.
Yeah.
The more people you speak to, the more people you meet, the better you are going to do in the long run.
Absolutely.
And I think so many people come in because they don't see results in 2-3 months because that's what they've been expecting.
Yeah.
You've got all these companies posting, our average broker does a deal in their first month. Great, but that's probably not the case. And a lot of people might join, not get that point and think, well, do you know what then? This must not be for me. And now I need to go. And if you join a company that's 150 people and you can't gel with anyone instantly because the only people you know is work and you don't have anyone at work, what do? You go home. Whereas if we can bring people in that is a part of everything, like we want to go out and do everything as a team, everyone is always invited to everything we do, that's why people will stay with us.
Absolutely.
You know, and I guess it's we're 6 months in, but it's such an exciting sort of opportunity, you know,
going forward
at BWC going forward, right? I feel like that. I genuinely believe that this is the most exciting opportunity in the market at the moment, right?
Why do you think that, Jake? So I mean, we sat here and we said we're on 15 brokers. We've got 22 staff.
Yeah.
What is the exciting opportunity going forward? And I think the question also extends to Jamie. I mean, obviously the office is filling up. I mean, you're probably looking for someone to work alongside you, aren't you?
So we've just posted that. Well, I mean, to be fair, like that was always the plan from the start, right? So the idea is we have an office. We can probably fit about 32 brokers in it. Along with support staff and etc. On top of that. The idea from the start was always to get 2 sales directors, either that have 2 teams or they collaboratively work together. As obviously that's what we're about.
Absolutely.
And we're now getting to the point where, because of the sort of individual help that we give, we're now looking for that second sales director to come and work, not against me, like alongside me and help us grow this. And obviously we've always said like we don't want to be a company that fills the office up and then suddenly goes, we can fit another desk there, we can fit another desk there, let's try and get this 50 people in the office. Like we are very sure that once this office is full, it's done, and we will then create a new office.
And I think that I think
for us to buy.
And
that's great. That's a great incentive for career progression internally, right? Because I think a lot of the pain points through the numerous interviews we took, you know, a lot of the pain points there was, well, I've kind of reached a point in my company where I don't quite have a clear sight to where I'm going next. Regardless of my performance. I don't think there's, you know, I'm at a ceiling. And I think what's quite nice about our growth trajectory is that with these new offices, it allows for a lot of opportunities for that internal growth.
100%.
We want to be in a position where when we start getting second offices, third offices, different types of business ventures, we don't have to look elsewhere. We look within. And we have people that have proven that, one, they are committed to the company, which is, I think, is the massive thing for us. Like, we don't want someone to walk in and suddenly start running everything. Like that doesn't make sense for us. So we'll bring people in that have done well, that have shown talent, that have shown that they are loyal to us, and that have shown that they're willing to work for it. and then we can open up all these different roles and different exciting ventures. And like for us, it's not even a case of Dubai; it's a case of where next.
Well, I mean, even to the point of like, you know, our investors. I mean, it's no surprise that we're quite fortunate with our investors and the backing that we have behind us.
Yeah.
You know, allowing us to get this beautiful office. But you know, we're looking into new ventures of development. You know, looking into developing buildings.
Which is crazy for a six-month-old
It's crazy, you know. And for us, there's obviously huge mutual benefits and synergies in having a real estate firm married with a developer capability. So,
100%.
Very, very exciting future ahead.
I think then when we start to look at where we want to go from there, for me it's always been sky's the limit. Like I told you guys, like when I started this, or when I came into here, like I don't want to be a small-time broker. Like everyone, I want everyone in there to be at the top of their game. I want
absolutely,
like we want to essentially try and dominate a segment of the market without becoming a brokerage that fits 150 people in one office.
Yeah,
and tries to take
another brokerage, right? Yeah,
because like Dubai is big enough. Like, and I always say to people, if this isn't the company for you, there's 2,500 real estate companies that have been set up. Like, there is something for you out there.
Yeah,
and don't.
And sometimes that will be more suitable.
Don't settle for less than yourself. Don't settle for less than what you're looking for.
And don't think just where you are. That's what real estate is, because, like you said, different brokerages have to offer different things.
Yeah,
sure.
You know,
like there's some people out there that probably think like we're stupid what we're doing.
Yeah. But there'll be others that listen and say, "Wow, that actually resonates with me.
Exactly.
That seems like a place I want to be." You know. So.
Exactly. And it's nice. And it's nice now, like especially from when I started, the market is so different. Back then, you were frowned upon for speaking to other agents and speaking to other agents and other companies.
Yeah.
Now it's so nice to see that you can ring up agents and other companies you don't have to sign like agent to agent agreements, and they're literally so open to it. And the amount of deals we've done with other agents is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just through having that network and having that sort of that network of different companies and dealing with different people. Like it's so nice.
Yeah.
So I mean, listen, let's see. Sky's the limit, lads. It's such an awesome journey. So lucky to have both of you guys on this. Yeah. And I look forward to sitting down in 6 months' time, looking back and thinking, remember when we were sat doing our first podcast?
And so you know, it's the three of us sitting here today. But at the end of the day, you know, when we do look back in 12 months, it's part and parcel of every single person's contribution in the firm. We've always said it from the start. This isn't a firm where people come to work for the leadership team. We're all building BWC together. We're all, you know, working towards a shared vision, so that in a year's time we can all look back and be very proud of what we've all created.
100%, guys.
Awesome.
Should we end it there?